My name is Kyle Mitchell, aka Social Anxiety Kyle. Welcome to my channel. So together we usually go through something that I find regarding general or social anxiety, but this time I'm going to talk more overall about mental health. Well, more specifically, men's mental health and toxic masculinity. Now, I am a huge advocate for men's mental health, obviously because I am a man, so I've gone through all the stigmas of it. We're not allowed to have feelings, we can't cry, we have to toughen up, man up, rub some dirt on it. And I want to dispel all that stigma, say none of that is true. You are weak if you do those things. You're weak if you do not stand up for yourself. You're weak if you don't open up, share your feelings. And you are strong if you can do that, if you can be vulnerable, if you can open up, share your feelings. And you will feel so much better when you do that. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about someone who preaches essentially poor men's mental health and toxic masculinity. His name is Myron Gaines. Now, let me quickly go over who Myron Gaines is in case you don't know. He is the co-host of Fresh and Fit podcast, which is claimed to be the #1 self-improvement podcast for men. You'll see why that's kind of funny later on. He is also a dating and fitness coach. It's kind of funny because the first time I ever saw a video with this guy in it, I actually kind of liked him. I was like, oh, that's cool. There's this video where he was talking in his podcast about how men don't receive flowers like women do. And he says, you know, it's kind of messed up that the first time a man usually receives flowers for the first time is at his funeral when he's dead. And I was like, that's kind of deep. Like, yeah, that's true. Like, that's kind of weird. I don't know if I'd really be into like wanting flowers while I'm alive anyways. Maybe like a nice little house plant I'd be into. I don't know, but I'm sure there's plenty of guys who like flowers and would enjoy getting flowers. I'm starting to go off on a rant here. So I started to, go through his profile as we do, and we find a video we like. We're like, oh, I want to see more videos from this guy. So I start watching them. Big mistake. Now, before I go further and I play some of the videos featuring Myron, I do want to give a disclaimer that there is a hefty amount of profanity and just topics that probably aren't safe for work or at school. So just throwing that out there, probably not something you want to watch around there. But honestly, I just have to talk about this and make sure that especially my young men out there watching, or maybe parents that have young men out there watching, know that, do not watch or listen to this guy. This is the worst advice on how to be a man. So this first clip I'm about to show you will give you a good little taste of his personality and kind of how he presents himself. Also, I'm trying to warm you up. This is probably one of the more mild clips. So we're going to start off a little easy and we'll kind of work our way up to some of the more, I don't know what you want to call them, cringy, nasty, gross clips. You watch and you tell me what you think.
I say all the time, in today's day and age, you shouldn't be getting married until you're at least 35.
That was my next question for you. As a man, what age should you consider getting married?
So I have, this is my thing that I tell guys. I think 35 years old, had slept with at least 50 women, 100K per year, you're in shape, and you got 6 months to 1 year of savings.
All right, done. I got to get married. I've done all that.
Ugh. I just feel like icky in my stomach every time I listen to this dude talk. Yeah. As you can probably tell, this guy at least presents himself to care pretty much about 3 things, and you'll see this as a common thing as we go through these videos. Money, sex, not women, sex, and status. These are obviously ridiculous standards, and I'm not going to give a lot of time into this video specifically. Like I said, I just want to give you all a taste. I think you all know why these are ridiculous and toxic. I think it's self-explanatory.
Women are not built to handle masculine problems. Being vulnerable with a woman is some of the worst advice that modern day women give to men, because if I sit there and I cry to you, oh my God, my life is hard, blah, 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 you might sit there and console me for a bit, but deep down you're like, you fucking bitch.
This is so ironic because I think this is probably the worst advice I've heard about men on how to interact with other women. So I co-host this podcast called The Social Ninjas, and we interview people about various, mental health topics. And we had on an author and Emmy Award winner, Cleo Stiller, who wrote this book called Modern Manhood. And I can specifically remember one thing that she said, and this popped into my head once I heard Myron say this. I remember her saying to us in the podcast, she's like, if I'm supposed to give advice to women on how to find a good man, what I'm going to tell them to do is to go wait outside a men's support group. She said, at least those men are able and capable and open to opening up and sharing their emotions. Women typically like this. I think all people typically like this. I personally do. I want my wife to be able to talk to me and I want to know how she's actually feeling. I don't want her to hold everything in and stuff. We need to know how each other are feeling so we can operate, so we can help, so we can support the ones that we love. And this idea from Myron that men are essentially just supposed to hold it all in and kind of toughen up, and women don't want to hear about men's problems or how they feel is so backwards and wrong, so untrue. By the way, I'll put a link to that episode where we interview Cleo Stiller, because if you're interested in learning more about what modern manhood is and what it is to be a man, especially in this day and age, she was amazing. So you guys should go take a look at it. I think it's 20-30 minutes long, but it's a really good episode. So I'll put that link in the description.
And you're going to go and find someone.
That is so not true. I know.
You know that saying that a picture says 1,000 words? I think that applies to this dude's face right now. I mean, just look at that face that he gives when he hears that woman say that it's not true. It's almost like you can just read his face. It's like, how dare you? I'm a man and you are a woman, therefore I am right and you are wrong.
Vulnerability shows crying
vulnerability is so powerful.
Yes, exactly. Being vulnerable does make you human. And women like to see the human side of a man, not the side of a man. It's like, I'm tough, nothing bothers me, I'm super secure, confident, nothing can take me down, I am a robot, I don't know how I transitioned to this.
Again, this is a common example of women saying one thing but doing another. They're saying this right now because it's politically correct to say, you can cry to me, you can be vulnerable to me, etc. But deep down, if your man came to you and was crying on your shoulder saying, I don't know what's going on, her vagina's gonna... Can I finish? Her vagina's gonna dry up.
Ugh. This is so gross to me how this guy talks. He thinks so one-dimensionally about women. I think he believes that women are put on this earth for men to have sex with. And good God, it shows just the way he talks. Ugh. Her vagina is going to dry up if men open up. So weird. But once again, one of his top 3 things that I mentioned earlier is sex, so it does make sense that he would make a statement like that.
Gonna dry up. She ain't gonna want to fuck with him anymore, and she's gonna look for a stronger, more capable man, because women are designed to look for security.
Ironic coming from someone who I believe to be an extremely insecure person. So by this point, you've probably figured out that this guy does not care about women, and treats them more like animals, I would say, than actual human beings. Here's another clip to show how he really thinks about women, kind of solidify that idea, and how he thinks this is the right way to think about women and treat women, and to the point where he thinks he needs to be teaching people this. Good God.
You guys this. Like I said before, why the hell are you going to pay full price for a goddamn car that's been used?
Oh, no. Please don't tell me he's comparing a woman to a used car. Please that not be the case. Let's get some more context.
What women don't understand is men don't ask for much, okay? If I'm going to take you seriously as a girlfriend and or a wife, my only real request is that you don't embarrass me and fuck other guys.
My God, he is, isn't he? He is.
Okay? But they have the fucking gall to sit here and say, yeah, insecure. No, you dumb bitch. I'm not fucking insecure. I'm very secure in my goddamn confidence. I don't want to fucking wipe up no hoe.
In my experience, people who are super confident and secure, they usually act like this. They usually yell and scream and feel the need to defend their confidence and secureness within themselves. No, absolutely not. And if you're watching this, you may struggle with social anxiety, I'm going to assume. So it's possible that maybe you don't have the utmost confidence in the world, or you don't feel very secure in yourself, which is fine. So I want you to think for a second, what if you did have all the confidence in the world and you were really secure about yourself? If someone came up to you and questioned you about your confidence or your insecureness and said, you're not confident, you're super insecure. And if you actually were super confident and super secure in yourself, would you feel the need to defend yourself like this guy is right now? Would you go on this tangent and start yelling, I am secure, I am confident, this is what I do, blah, blah, blah. This guy is not confident or secure. He is absolutely insecure. Just like I said earlier, called it. So out of curiosity, I checked out his podcasts on Apple Podcasts just to see what the reviews were like. It had a 2.9 star overall, which is bad, but it's really bad for having 1,300 total reviews, which is a good amount of reviews for a podcast. It's a pretty, high up there podcast, I guess I'll say. What's really funny though is if you look at the reviews, they're either 5-star or 1-star. There's literally no in between. It's either they hate this or it's the guys who are super into this, yada yada. So of course I had to go read some of these reviews, and some of them are pretty funny. I'm going to go over some of my favorite ones. Just the 1-stars, because I could care less about the people who think this is 5 stars. Just, not people in my circle, I'll say that. Okay, here, I'm not going to try Chulu Snacky. I don't know. It all makes sense now. I went on a date with Amru years ago. I think Amru is the other guy in this podcast, so Myron is actually a co-host. He definitely seems to be the more vocal one, but he also co-hosts with a guy named Amru, I think. So while I was actually editing this, I was like, you know what, I need to go check out who Amru is. I was like, oh, he's not the co-host. And then I realized, no, Amru is actually Myron Gaines. Myron Gaines is not his real name, and his real name is Amru Fuddle or Fiddle or something like that. So that just makes it even more funny. Continue on. So anyways, went on a date with Amru years ago. He was upset and hurt when I wouldn't put out after he bought me pizza. I read that one and I was like, oh my God, if this is legit true, wow. False advertisement. Probably the most unqualified creatures to be saying literally anything about women. Amen. Hopefully I wasn't too emotional writing this. I think that was kind of stab at them about men who can't be emotional. At least I think so. That's funny. I'd give it a 0 if I could. This is the dumbest show that exists. A bunch of men without loving relationships complaining that they don't have anyone. Toxic and harmful. There's another one. Horrible. This show is one of the worst things that can happen to the black community. Another one. I wish 0 stars existed. They don't deserve to be on this podcast or any social media. Lame men who clearly are miserable about their past experiences and wants to spread their poison to others. I will say the reason that this man is so insecure and feels the need to defend himself like this is probably some stuff in his past. We can only just assume. I'm not going to get real deep into it, but usually that's pretty much the cause when someone starts acting like that. But here's a third review that wished that there was a 0-star option on Apple. Maybe Apple should come up with a new feature where you can rate a podcast 0 stars, because there seems to be a lot of people wanting to do that on this one. Horrible. I wish 0 stars existed. These men do not deserve to have this podcast, much less be on the internet. Yeah. So to sum it all up, this podcast is garbage. It is the definition of toxic masculinity. It is very poor for men's mental health. And I just encourage all young men not to listen to this fool or maybe listen to him and do the exact opposite, because that's probably the way to do it. That's why I wanted to talk to you all about it, to get out there in front of it, and that way it's not seeping into young minds, especially that think, oh, this is how you do it, this is how you be cool. Like, absolutely not. This is not how men should act, ever. It's never okay for a man to act and talk and treat women the way that this dude does. As a man, you should treat women with respect, with kindness. Give support to women when they need it, if they ask for it. These are all, some basics of being a man and how to treat women. If you follow those guidelines, you'll do pretty good as a man interacting with other women. And I want to hammer this in. It is okay for men to have feelings. And it is okay as a man, for you to share your feelings with other people. In fact, you should. If you don't have feelings, if you never cry, if you never get sad or depressed or have a bad day and you have the toughen up mentality, I'm just gonna be a man, you are crumbling inside. Do not do that to yourself. Open up. Go talk to somebody, whether it be your girlfriend, spouse, parent, teacher, student, classmate, whoever, man. Just go talk to somebody about it. Get that stuff out, because what's going to happen is it's going to bottle up, and it's like shaking up a soda bottle or whatever, and eventually that cap is going to get loose, and when it does, it is just going to spur all over the place. And you do not want to do that, because it can come out in really terrible ways. You could blow up on somebody out of anger for something that they didn't deserve. You could say some things. And I promise you, just by opening up and talking to somebody about how you feel 1,000 times better. Like, it is going to provide you so much relief. So I hope if you got anything out of this video, know that as a man, you should have feelings and you should talk about how you feel. You should express that. I'm not saying you go tell the whole world, but do not hold that stuff in. So in contradiction to what Myron says, opening up and being vulnerable, especially to women or whoever, is a strength. It is not a weakness. And that is that BS mindset that I want to get rid of. Thank you for watching this video and making it all the way through. If you enjoyed this video, well, is enjoyed the right word? I hope you enjoyed my take on it. Maybe you didn't enjoy really watching this. At least for me personally, this was a hard one to create and edit, because I had to watch this guy's for so much and listening to repeat and editing and putting it all in there and clipping it up. Ugh. I'm done listening to this cringe fest of gross, toxic masculinity, and I hope you all are too. But if you liked my take on the message, the videos talking about men's mental health, toxic masculinity, please subscribe to my channel. Please ring the little notification bell so you get a little notification every time I post a new video. Also, if you have a man in your life, if you have a child, a growing man, if maybe your spouse, whoever, go send this to somebody that needs it. All right, hope to see you all next time, because I want to help you go from socially anxious to socially confident.